I have spent countless days finally getting this stupid fishing quest done. But today, welcome back to Standard Only. I'm currently sick, so if you hear my voice absolutely shaft itself, you'll know why. Today, I am finally purchasing the catch. Possibly the best weapon we are going to get on our account at all, statistically speaking. This thing is awesome. I will also be able to buy a single of the Akko vessels once I fish up the anglefish, because I did some fishing of the other ones as well. I still need to do the full fishing round today, but I could not be bothered, honestly. Because today, since I am sick and I don't really have the energy to do much, today is going to be all about our lovely girl, Xiangling. Because we need to start building Xiangling for one of our teams. Xiangling is undoubtedly one of the best characters we are going to have access to, and I think we are going to need to abuse the fact that we have her to even get anywhere near what we need to do. We do have C1 Xiangling as well, which isn't exactly relevant. We would need C4 for her to really start to shine, but we don't really care. We're going to do what we need to do. We do have 5 condensed resin ready, as well as a bunch of resin just kind of sitting by. And we desperately need to get XP books because we are completely out of those. So we're gonna do that. But before I inevitably start speeding up the video, let's spend the wishes we have available. Because of the new patch that has come out, which is Alastra, Malastra, Badastra, Bingus, Wonderland, we got a bunch of Primo Gems, as well as the stuff that I have farmed in between episodes, of course. We're sitting on 8. I'm not entirely sure whether or not we have Pity. Oh, we do, actually. We're definitely getting a 4-star. And it should be a character because we got Rust last time. So, honestly, I'm hoping for the best here. That's blue. What would we even want to see right now? I guess a Bennett, so we don't have to buy one, would be cool. I don't know what else, honestly. I mean, one of the cryo characters would be neat, I guess. Fischl would be outstanding to see. Fischl would just be absolutely crazy. Gumming would be pretty cool. I accidentally closed the menu again. I do that so many times these days. I don't know what I'd like to see, but here is the purple in question. What are you gonna give us, video game? A Yao Yao constellation. That one isn't that helpful, I don't think. Don't get me wrong, Yao Yao is a pretty good character, and we could theoretically play that into Gnari's team. But what does C1 Yao Yao do? Okay, you know what? C1 Yao Yao is actually pretty cool. So when you're inside the AoE of the radishes exploding, you get 50% dendro damage bonus, which actually would help Gnari a fair bit. I don't hate that. That does open the avenue of playing Yao Yao instead of Cole, I guess. I'm not entirely sure, but I suppose that is a cool constellation, even though it is for a character I do not actively use. I'd also like to point out that we don't have that many characters on this account, and still, we are getting duplicates of a bunch of characters, and I don't understand how. It could pick any one of the 4-stars we don't have. They're all in here, I promise you, but the game just doesn't feel like doing that. It's actually driving me insane. I just closed the menu again. I'm a silly goofball. They're all gonna be blue. I'm just gonna, be sad, I guess. Yeah. Man, that's so disappointing. So for yet another week, the account makes no character progress whatsoever. Shocking. Probably nobody at this point, let's be honest here. All right, there's our first XP books. Oh, that's so many. Looks so good. There's XP books number 2. There is a third one, and I think with that, we actually do have enough to bring her up to level 70. With a bit of luck, at least. Oh, we are very close. Oh, well, it's fine. Oh my god, it's so little. Oh, fine, we'll do one more. Whatever. Alright, with that, we certainly have enough to at least bring her up to 70. And we're going to see if we can just go and get the other materials as well, because, oh, we're gonna waste one. Whatever. Who cares? Level 70, we are going to need 10 more boss drops, which I think we are capable of getting with what we have available to us. I'm gonna go over there and just, I guess, use the resin we have to get it. We have Fragile. We're gonna use it all today, screw it. There we go, 300 resin, let's go. If there is one thing I like about both Xiangling and Bennett eventually, it is that both of them fight the Pyro Red just fine. One of the very few bosses in the game that we can absolutely destroy within seconds. Oh, it feels so good to be able to fight this guy after having to put up with all of the annoying bosses for so long. Like freaking Lanyan's boss is just complete. Like Lanyan's boss takes like 5 minutes to kill, and this guy could kill in one rotation. It's so nice. But yeah, we need 10 more of these, so we're just gonna do, ooh, a 3, very cool. Electro damage bonus, although very bad substats, which is kind of unfortunate, but whatever. Hey, look, Everflame Seed, we got 3, very cool. There's another kill right there. Oh my god, really? A gemstone? Holy shit, okay, I will happily, voice crack. I'll happily take those. That's awesome. And a flower that sucks. There's another kill right there, and 3 more. Wow, we're hitting the 3s today. And within literally minutes, we've done all the farming. Oh my god! Really? 2 of them? What the hell? My voice can't handle screaming like that today. What in God's freaking name is this? I've never had 2 gemstones drop within the same, like, span of 12 minutes. Can someone figure out what, like, the probability of that is? That's crazy. Also, this attack stance is not actually half bad, given crit rate, energy recharge, and attack percent. Defense percent sucks, but, like, that's probably good. Oh my god, we're gonna get to do our first ever Pyronado. Holy crap. It's gonna happen, everybody. We're gonna get to do it. Give me some energy. I desperately need it, because I'm very energy hungry. Thank you. We're gonna do this. We're gonna burst. We're gonna click the button. We're gonna click the button. It's gonna do no damage, but I don't care because it is cool. Look at the spinny, everybody. It spins. Oh, we're gonna be the best circle impact team of all time. But okay, more chilies. Oh, there's actually chilies in Xiangling Vale? I didn't know that. That's kind of shocking to me that they would go back and add stuff to this area. To be fair, I love Xiangling Vale. It looks so pretty. It's a shame that I finished this like so early on my main account because this area is so goddamn cool. I know it's raining right now, so it takes away a little bit from it, but I love Xiangling Vale. It's one of the most screenshotable areas in the game, I guess. I don't really have a word to describe it, but it is incredibly pretty. Did we get all the chilies we need? Oh, we did! Awesome. We have ascended Xiangling to the level she will be sitting at for the time being, because I don't think we're going to go any higher than 80 before we absolutely have to. We do still have to collect some Mora and some XP books, though, so I guess that's just what we're doing. Also, we get a free wish, because I forgot that that was the essential level that gives us one. Hooray! Let's be disappointed. Oh, man. Alright, a bit of farming done later. We will put in whatever we can into Xiangling for now. She goes up to level 77. She'll be level 80 by next week, I am sure. I don't think we have anything to actually enhance the catch with that much. And don't worry, all of these we already have at, what's it called? At Refinement 5, so I do not mind getting rid of any of them. We need the masks, which, yeah, we can't do, which is unfortunate, but I'll get working on that at some point. For the rest of this episode, though, both because my energy levels are kind of down today, and it needs to be talked about anyway, we're going to discuss the future of this series, because we've basically reached a pivotal point where we actually need to discuss numbers, because we're going to have a few problems going forward. As many of you know, when I originally started this series, I had 2 goals in mind. I wanted to 36-star the Abyss and beat the Imaginarium Theater on Visionary mode. Not in the new lunar weird constellation mode, because I don't think we're ever going to have enough characters to do that, but the original Visionary mode. The problem with this is now that one of those goals has suddenly become unfeasible for us, and that being the Spiral Abyss. In the last couple of updates of Genshin Impact, the HP inflation in the Spiral Abyss has reached critical mass. Even now, with fully built teams intended to beat the Spiral Abyss, you are going to be fighting the timer. it has truly become the endgame mode of all endgames, so to speak, because you are up against a numbers check the entire time. So when I started to notice this in Natlan, and the problem just kind of got worse in Notcry, I hired myself, as well as some of my closer community members, to go into the Spiral Abyss on multiple occasions, running only teams that would have been available to us on Standard only, even though I let them use every character possible just to test things out. As it turns out, even with fully built characters on C6 with the appropriate weapons and such, we have an incredibly slim chance at actually succeeding on this. The few successful runs we had over the last couple of patches were done with teams that were heavily optimized for what we were doing, as well as C6, basically every single one of them. Most of them included either Bennett or Fischl, being that they are two of the strongest characters we will have, both at C6, as well as Xiangling where possible, because again, they are kind of the best 4 stars we can get. Most of the 5 stars, unfortunately, did not get a showing at all. I think the only one we actually had any use for was my own C5 Mona on my main account because of the buffs that she gives off of her Omen. This is a problem, as you can probably guess. Now, fortunately for us, there have been rumors of buffs to older characters with the Hexen, Kroixen, Goixen, Doixen circle, with a lot of the old Mondstadt characters actually being brought up to speed. Razor being one of the ones that we really need to look at, because apparently Razor has become absolutely absurd now, which is really cool for the boy, he deserves it. But some of the characters there are unusable to us, like Durin and Venti. We simply cannot make use of them at all, and Klee I don't think we'd want to use anyway. The characters that become relevant for us, obviously, is Sucrose, Fischl, and Razor, I suppose, are the most appropriate ones, because all 3 of those actually give something very beneficial if played together. Problem is we don't have Fischl and we don't have Razor, so for the time being, those 2 are kind of dead. They don't really do anything for us at all. In fact, do we have Razor? I don't even know. Did we? I know we got one weird character that I didn't use, but it wasn't Razor, I don't think. No? Okay. I got worried there for a second. I actually had to double check so I wasn't crazy, but apparently we're fine. But yeah, no. So the Spiral Abyss has gotten to the point now where even fully constructed 4-star teams with every possible gift they can get available is going to struggle. I don't necessarily know what to do about this at the moment, because again, it kind of sucks having to go back on what I originally wanted this series to be, because the whole point was, can the standard banner do anything in the endgame? And theoretically, yes, it can. Because, again, we were able to clear it a couple of times. The problem there is C6. Since we only have access to the standard banner, whenever we attempt to roll for a character to get them to C6, we have to not only beat the 50-50 or whatever to actually get a character, we then have to roll a 1 in however many 4-star characters there are on the standard banner right now, I'll have it on screen, to actually get the one that we want, and we have to hit that number 7 separate times for most characters. Sometimes it's 6 if we get one for free, but you get the point. The amount of time we would have to spend to get there for 4 characters for a single team is unfortunately a bit absurd. We are talking years upon years upon years upon years, possibly. So, is it theoretically doable? Yes. But I'm going to be real with everyone here. I'm not planning on keeping this series going for that long. So, we need to discuss what we can do to alleviate this problem, because there are a couple of things we can do, but it would force us to change the rules of the series, and that might ruin the whole thing for some people, including myself, to be honest. But we need to talk about acquiring characters, because this is the biggest problem we have at the moment. When it comes to acquiring characters, the only thing we can actually do right now is wish on the standard banner and pray, which is not necessarily terrible, but it is a problem since we have a goal in mind. For just playing casually and having fun with the concept of the account, I could keep doing this forever. But if we want to beat the Spiral Abyss, or at the very least have the largest chance at doing so, we need to actually we need a way to more consistently acquire characters and resources to get said characters. We have two options here, and I'm going to leave it kind of in your hands. Either A, this account stops being a free-to-play account, and I will be allowed to spend money in order to improve the account by wishing on the standard banner. This is an awful idea. Please do not make me do this, because I do not want to throw away my money into a pit of the void to get things that are just completely garbage. I don't want to do that. That's so bad. Alternative number 2. Because the account would remain to be free to play and we would not be spending any primo gems on anything but a quaint fate, we would be allowed to use the intertwined fates that we get for free from the game to wish on any of the other banners. The problem with this is this goes against the entire premise of the show. I wanted this show to show exactly what the standard banner can do. And if we suddenly start spending wishes on other banners, I feel like that kind of detracts from where we wanted to go. I don't know, maybe I'm too focused on what I said at the beginning of this series, but I still feel like there's just something weird about breaking that rule to me. It kind of invalidates everything that we've been doing so far. And what it really does, and I think this is what's nagging at the back of my head, it basically turns this series into 4-star only, which is currently done by Java the Cup. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the premise of that series a lot, and it's one of the inspirations for standard only to begin with. But at that point, I'd feel it goes from having inspiration from another creator to downright stealing their idea. And that feels bad to me. I don't know, that feels awful somewhere. So what is the other alternative? Because there is a third alternative to this, and it's not one that we have tested so far. We haven't actually done any testing on this at all. But what it would do is that it would allow us to still use our intertwined fates, but only use them on the weapon banner. And it would allow us to use any weapon we get from the weapon banner. The problem with this, again, is that, yes, it heavily goes against the idea of standard only, being that, you know, we're no longer only on the standard banner, but the same rule would apply that we could not use our primo gems on that banner. We could only do it with the free intertwined fates that we are given by the game and nothing else. What this would potentially do for the account is that we would have access to some of the stronger weapons of the game that we normally would not get, both in the 5-star alternative weapons, because again, even though they are created for characters that, you know, are intended to use them, they are still really good in 4-star characters. One of the main ones that are on the banner right now would be Nefer's Catalyst, giving both crit damage, crit rate, and elemental mastery when using your skill. This weapon for Lanyan, as an example, could probably be her best in slot, if nothing else. I have no data to actually test this with, but I have a presumption that that would be way better than the Skyward Atlas we're using today. This would also go for most other weapons we could find on there, which would give this an account an incredible boost in power, but it would also be cheating. The thing with the weapon banner also is that when we get a character on the weapon banner, it will always be a 4-star character, being within the rules of this account, because, again, we're not getting characters we aren't supposed to get. The 4-star weapons we can get on the banner as well are some of the best ones I could think of. A lot of them would help this account tremendously in terms of actual, you know, damage output, if we want to call it that. But once again, we'd be breaking the whole standard only rule, and that would be lame. There is a fourth alternative to this, I guess, and that would be the Battle Pass. Because the Battle Pass weapons are also some of probably the best 4-star weapons in the game, actually. I'm thinking of Serpent Spine specifically. Solar Pearl wouldn't be terrible either. I don't remember what it's the Jade Blossom is not that good for our account, I guess. But there's a lot of good weapons on that banner as well. It will give us some Primo Gems, but once again, we're kind of breaking the rule of being free to play at that point, and it worries me a bit. So, I'm, you know, despite my rambling and my throat getting sore, I'm gonna kind of leave this to you guys in the comments, because I want your ideas here. This series could potentially go on forever, but I would drag myself into the ground doing so, and it would be kind of pointless. we can expedite the series by allowing ourselves to break the original rules and kind of detracting from what this series was meant to be, or we can just set new goals for ourselves if we feel like the current goal is unobtainable by what we want to do. The Imaginarium Theater, I should point out, is completely doable under our current rule set, but it does require us to collect a lot of characters. So it's kind of just a question of time until we have the required number to actually enter it, but on my main account, I have on multiple occasions managed to beat it with standard-only characters. It is completely doable. It's no problems there. We just need to build the characters up, because a lot of the reasons we can beat the Imaginarium Theater is because of the random buffs that we get. The random buffs make our characters strong enough to plow through everything that comes through, and again, we are not looking to 10 Stella, we're just looking to beat the final mode, which I think is completely fine. But yeah, no, I know this bit was a little bit talky and probably boring to sit through, and I apologize for that, but it still needed to be said. So if you have an idea of what you would like me to do with this series going forward, and how we are going to acquire our original goal without breaking the rules too much, do let me know, because I don't really want to use Intertwined Fates because that breaks everything I set out to do, but I also don't want this account to just be left in a state where we have to wait several years to achieve our goal. That feels bad somehow. Anyways though, thank you for watching. I'm going to go rest my throat now because you can probably hear that I am starting to lose my voice. I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you all next time.